Hey everybody, this is Michelle from Half the National Average, and I am on a year-long journey to chase down my dreams, and I'm hoping that you come along with me. Every day I give a habit hack, and today is habit hack number 23. So, habit hack number 23. I actually wanted to do a week-long kind of theme, which is very unusual for me, and I don't know if I'll be able to stick with that because of my ADD and my kind of last-minute habit hacks, but it's all in the steel trap. Don't you worry. Okay, so this week's kind of theme is going to be all around the glucose. So our brain, so we're going to first just describe glucose. Glucose has been described as gas. I think that's the best analogy. It's kind of gas to your car, or electricity if you have an electric car. But we're going to talk about gas, and we're going to compare our subconscious brain and our conscious brain to two different types of cars. So let's think of our conscious brain, which is very effortful, very gas depleting or glucose depleting. And that's our conscious side of our brain. We're going to call the F-150. It's really more like an F-350 to tell you the truth, but maybe even an F-450. Depending on how much you think. Okay, so F-150, we'll just say F-150. Most people know what an F-150, it's a truck. It uses a lot of gas. It doesn't have great gas mileage. When you use it, it can pull logic. It can pull thinking. And then our subconscious brain, which I call limby, but limby is just part of the subconscious brain. We're going to call that the Prius. And so it still uses gas, but not that much. It's always trying to turn off. It's always trying to conserve energy. It is running like diagnostics 24/7, your subconscious. I don't know about Prius, but it doesn't use a lot of energy. So we have the F-150 and the Prius. Now the F-150 is where your executive control is. So your executive center, or your executive control, that's where you can override your subconscious or your Prius kind of needs or wants. And only that area in your executive control area, which is your conscious brain, your logical brain, part of the prefrontal cortex, in only that area can you kind of prioritize things. Can you take tasks and say, no, I'm going to think about this versus that? Your subconscious can't do that. The Prius does not do that. It just throws up answers left and right based on patterns, based on experience or perceived experience. How many times have you, like me, gotten together with a family, with a bunch of family members? You grew up in the exact same household, the exact same parenting-ish, different genetics, so you're looking at things a little bit differently, but your experience is completely different because of your perception. So that's all happening on your Prius level or subconscious level of your brain. Now, what does this have to do with your habit hack? It's because well, let me just answer that. So the habit hack for today is when you're creating a habit, you're using the F-150. So you're really using a lot of gas, a lot of glucose. And that's why I keep telling you guys, look at the other habit hacks if you want more information. But you need to do it early in the day if you can. Don't wait till the last minute like I do, where you're tired, cognitively depleted, effortful thinking, and you get all sidetracked. So if you do it early and you are full of gas, you're able to get your habit done more quickly. Now, as you create a habit, an actual habit, it actually gets stored in the Prius. You're no longer storing it in the bed of your F-150. It gets stored in the Prius, and once it's a habit, it uses a lot less energy. So think about, I'm trying to learn a language as one of my habits. People that speak Spanish, they don't think about it. It's stored in their Prius. It's completely just part of their subconscious area of their brain. Me, it's total F-350. It's like, son, tienen, super effortful. I wanted to do, this is a typical test just so you can see kind of how your Prius just takes patterns and lies to you all the time. So when I say perceived, it doesn't mean that your Prius is correct. A lot of times it's wrong. So here's a little pretty well-known, very, very easy test. It's a word test. So here's the word test. A bat and a ball cost $1.10. The bat is $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? Now, you already know it's a trick question. It doesn't even matter. Even if you've heard the question before, your brain automatically pops up that the ball is 10 cents. That's the Prius. The Prius does not want to use glucose to do this dumb little test. So it's just going to throw up an answer. It's wrong. And if you don't use the F-150 to pull some logic and actually do the math to see that it's 5 cents, the ball is actually 5 cents, then you'll just go along with your day. Now, we do this all the time. All the time. We answer questions and never pull the F-150 because you know what happens? The Prius already answered the question before the F-150 even turned on. Like, you didn't even turn on the F-150. The Prius is like, oh, I got this. Let's move on. Look at what's happening today. The market and the stock market, right? It continues to crash. Interest rates continue for homes if you're looking to refinance. I don't know if you're like my brother. He's like waiting until it drops. I'm like nervous and I'm just going to do it anyway. I don't want it. It's probably going to drop, but I'm not that, I have more loss aversion than he does. But we do it all the time. We know the principle of the stock market. You buy low and you sell high. We've seen this before. Even recession. It's been recession. We know that this is a low market, but why are so many people selling? Prius Brain. They're selling so that they can go get their tissue and they can go get their water and they can feel safe. That's a Prius Brain. I don't know what to call it, but it's Prius Brain thinking because it's not thinking. It's not pulling logic to the forefront. When you do the math, when you do the percentages, it just doesn't make sense. So we do it all the time. The stock market is filled with Prius Brain decisions, and that's why it's so hard to predict. I can't predict the future as episode, 22, 21. Go back and look at episode 21, but we're terrible at predicting the future. So we just have to make the decisions, try to use your F-150 brain a little bit, make a decision and then move on. Don't just let the Prius make decisions because a lot of their decisions, the Prius uses just patterns, like I said, it just uses recognition of things and it uses, faulty information most of the time. So you have to have really good information to pull those patterns or else the information that your Prius is going to throw up is going to be wrong. Okay, so pretty much that is my habit hack. Your brain wants cognitive ease. So while you're building a habit, it's really important that you use your executive function of your brain to push forward, to try to do it every day. Once you do it every day, it'll create a habit. And once it creates a habit, you need less glucose to sustain that habit, which is what our brain loves, cognitive ease. Okay, so what am I giving away today? Oh, man. I mean, you may not think these are treasures, but Ticonderoga, come on, Jeff, John, these some good ones. I just have so many. I'm in love with Ticonderoga pencils. I have a lot. I'm giving away my yellow ones. I'm keeping my black ones. And I have a bunch of highlighters and pens, and trust me, this is hard for me to give up. So this is no small thing, but these are yours. And I just want to say this sanitizer that I gave away, I said I was going to give away like a week ago, this is becoming a hot commodity. So don't forget, this is still here for you. If you join this project, tag 5 friends, let them know. Tomorrow, maybe I'll talk about why you should be tagging 5 friends, even if they're my 5 friends. It has a lot to do with the way your brain processes things. But this week, let me see if I can stick to one theme, which is going to be glucose and cognitive ease and how we build our habits around these little habits and tricks so that we don't end up doing silly things like stockpiling tissue paper when I loved the meme that said, coronavirus doesn't involve diarrhea. Thank you, Tiffany, for posting that. It made me laugh out loud. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow. If I'm lucky, I can't predict the future, but I'm going to try. All right, have a great night.